energy. The Larry H. Miller Company. Zions Bank. Digital Bytes Production and Design. Hillcrest Bank. Intermountain Healthcare. Lucid. Parsons, Bailey, and Latimer. Salt Lake International Airport. Swire Coca-Cola. WCF Insurance. Weber State University. Webb. And Strong and Hanny. And now, please welcome today's Master of Ceremonies, Assistant Vice President for EDI and Chief Diversity Officer with the University of Utah, Emma Houston.
Good evening, everyone. This music is loud. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the 4th Annual Living Color Gala, a night to honor those who have made it their mission. We're going to get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you so much for us getting started. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. But this is our 4th Annual Living Color Gala, a night to honor those who have made it their mission to attract and foster diversity initiatives in the state of Utah. The event came together because of a partnership between Utah Business Magazine and Living Color Utah, a coalition of the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce, the Utah Asian Association of Commerce, the Pacific Island Chamber of Commerce, the Utah LGBTQ+ Chamber of Commerce, the Utah Muslim Civic League, the Swazo Business Center, and the Young Professionals Salt Lake City. Together, their goal was to bring awareness to the changing business landscape in Utah and to promote a foundation upon which further recruiting efforts can be built. Utah Business and Living Color Utah would like to thank the Living Color Gold sponsor, Domo. Where's Domo in the house? Domo. And the silver sponsors, Dominion Energy, the Larry H. Miller Company, and Zions Bank for their valued support. We're going to clap it up for them as well. As well as the corporate partners that are here with us tonight. That's a round of applause for all of us. That's a round of applause. Thank you all for supporting these important initiatives and for helping us create a more diverse state. Now, a little about Utah Business. Utah Business provides award-winning, in-depth journalism on the tech and entrepreneur businesses at the forefront of our nation's economy. Their print and digital publications reaches executives across the state and provides live, deep dive events on the industry shaping our future. Please welcome the editor-in-chief of Utah Business Magazine, L. Griffin.
Good evening. Welcome to the Living Color Gala. I've been the editor at Utah Business for close to 5 years now. This is our 4th event with Living Color Utah, and a lot has happened since then. When we first got this event together, we were just kind of starting out trying to figure out what the landscape looks like, but now, in the last year alone, the Black Chamber hired a new president and CEO. Yeah? Expanded to Ogden, published a book, Black Utah, Stories from a Thriving Community. We also had the Swazo Business Center give seminars, classes, loans to small businesses in their community, very helpful. And the LGBTQ plus community Chamber of Commerce celebrated its 10th anniversary, surpassed 200 members, and relaunched Safe Zone Utah, a program that connects small businesses and nonprofits throughout the state with free resources and training on matters of LGBTQ plus inclusion and belonging. So this is a great group that is doing amazing things in Utah, and we are so excited to be partnering with them on this event. Utah is certainly not perfect, but we are working on it, and we are so excited all the honorees here tonight are working on it too. Congratulations to this year's Living Color honorees, and thank you for all you've done for our community. We're going to play a little video right now so you know a little bit more about who Living Color Utah is.
I moved from New Jersey here at a younger age, and all my friends said, "You're moving where?" I said, "To Utah." And they're like, "You're gonna grow horns." And I'm like, "What?" Living Color Utah's mission and purpose is create this online diversity guide to assist anyone coming to the state of Utah to discover, connect with their community.
This is the fusion together of many chambers of commerce and the young professionals of Salt Lake City and all these different organizations that make up Living Color Utah. So when you want to expose your products and your services to a wide community, Living Color Utah is an avenue to do that as well. It's not just about recruiting, it's not just about retention, it's about exposure for your products, your services, it's about sales, it's about increasing your revenue and your marketing goals. Living Color Utah has that aspect as well.
Once I got here, I hooked up with the organization. I just attended an event, and then I was like, "Ooh, I like this." So I attended another event, and another event, and another event, and I was like, "I'm in." So
once a week, on average, the Black Chamber receives either an email, a phone call, or contact through our website about, "Hey, I'm relocating to Utah. What does the Black landscape look like? Help me understand this a little bit better. You know, am I going to be okay?" Essentially is what they're wanting to know. And that's what Living Color Utah helps these companies see.
I think that it helps a lot when businesses participate in events or in communities that bring in people from different backgrounds, because that is where you can probably start building a network, not only personal but also professional, and start building up from there into something that you can call home, like a community that will actually nurture and comfort you.
Diversity and inclusion is not like just ticking a box because the federal government somehow gave you a grant and you have to hire people of color. It is more than that. To me, it's talking to someone and getting to know that person. That to me is inclusion.
You know, you want to feel accepted. You want to put those pictures out, just like your heterosexual colleagues, essentially. And I think it just makes sense. It's a good business practice for people to just be accepting of one another. And it shouldn't matter the color of your skin or who you love. If we can just live in a more accepting world, and that includes the business world, it very much includes the business world, I think we'd all be better off. I would like companies, individuals, our community to really have a part in all this, because that's the only way that Utah, our economy, our community will come together, is that we recognize the diversity inclusion and really make it an effort to say this doesn't just only help your community, it actually helps our youth, it helps our business, it helps create this safe place, this large community of people coming together to see one growth, one goal. And that's to be able to all work together, prosper together, and when we work together, that's how we become successful.
Thank you, Living Color Utah, for all you do. And I know you just gave them applause, but let's do a louder round of applause for that. Thank you, thank you. Now is the time we have all been waiting for, the opportunity that we have to learn about each of our honorees, their passions, efforts, and work that they are doing to make Utah a more diverse state. The first category this evening will be recognizing individuals and groups that are nonprofit. If you would just turn your attention to the video screen now.
Preventer is a nonprofit. Our goal is to raise awareness about breast cancer among the refugee and immigrant population. We host workshops and we connect our community to the resources already there, and we also host some screenings. The thing that I want to achieve the most is I want to see Preventer bigger. I want to host more workshops so we can reach more communities. The biggest challenge for me was starting my nonprofit, Preventer, because I came in the US 3 years ago. For people who know me, I'm very ambitious, and I wanted to start my nonprofit, and I didn't know exactly where to start. And it was really challenging for me to figure out what to do, where to start, and here I am. No matter your background, no matter where you're from, when you have a goal, when you have an ambition, you have to work very hard to achieve your goal. What I've also learned is that when you have a lot of challenges, it helps you to achieve your goal, and if challenges don't kill you, it helps you to grow and to be, who you are.
Congratulations, and please give a warm welcome to Amira Kirala, founder and executive director of Prevent Her. Amira? I can't see with the lights. Oh, there we are. Thank you, sis. Thank you.
I cannot see, but it's okay. Good evening, everybody. It's an honor for me to be here. I can't believe that. As I said, I came to the US 3 years ago as a refugee, and I'm so grateful to be here, and I promise that I will work hard to achieve my goal with Preventer. Thank you so much.
There are so many different individuals that are diverse in our communities. Folks only see what's on the surface as far as diversity, and there's so much underneath that we can miss if we're not asking questions and really digging into who people truly are and what we can uplift from them. I think it's really important to really center our communities. We have a very diverse and vast amount of communities here with different perspectives and experiences, and I think other businesses can learn to uplift those experiences and really validate our youth, our individuals here in our community. I've lived in Utah for 8 years, and in those 8 years I've seen so much growth in diversity and inclusion in this state, and I think there's so much more to go. The first step is really a personal journey for folks. I think we can make so many different policies and procedures and laws and expectations for people, but it truly is a personal journey to achieve those things. If we can go through our own equity journey and identify who we are and how we show up in our community, I think that's truly how change is going to happen, how we can make equitable communities all around.
Okay, please welcome to the stage Desi Arez, Regional Director for Playworks.
Good evening. I would first like to say thank you to Utah Business and Living Color Utah for this prestigious award, and to also the other honorees. It is an honor to share space and community with you here tonight. There is so much power in this room, and as a Black woman of color leader in our community, I'm so grateful for the work that many of you have done, and I'm proud to be able to continue this work and to trailblaze for those who will come after me. At Playworks, we believe that play brings out the best in every kid, and we believe that there is a best in every kid. My work through my organization creates spaces where kids can feel celebrated for who they are, affirm their identities, and build community and inclusion. We know that it takes one caring, consistent adult in a child's life to uplift who they are and say, "I see you," especially our kids of color who are navigating in a dominant culture different than their own. My hope is to be the person who affirms youth in our community, celebrate diversity, and say, "I see you." My hope is to encourage those around me to do the same. When this work gets hard and I feel like I want to give up, I think about my why. I think about my children, Taryn and Silas. I think about my family. I think about my team. I think about my friends, and I think of this saying, "The ancestors are moving mountains to see you rise." Thank you.
In the state of Utah, there is a shortage of Native American foster homes, and it's important that our Native American children go into Native homes so they can stay connected to their culture and to the language. And so it's more just, simply reading a child a book, but it's also talking to them in their language, reading a book, maybe it's a food. So that's why it's important to place our Native kids in Native homes. My favorite part of the job is working with the families and working with the community. We have a lot of great Native American foster parents that take care of Native kids. Not only do they provide a love and safe home, they also provide that cultural connection for the kids in their home. My parents inspire me. Growing up, not only did my parents work full-time, but they also encouraged us to do well in school. They participated in school events and encouraged us to do extracurricular activities. But they also took time to volunteer within their community, and we saw that growing up. Seeing how they are as a parent and as a humanitarian inspires me to lead as an example as they did for me, for my children.
Please welcome Stephanie Bentley, Native American Specialist for Utah Foster Care.
Good evening. I am from the Diné tribe. My clans are Red Streak people, and I'm born from Bitterwater. I want to say thank you for this recognition this evening. It is an honor and a privilege to be recognized for the work working with the Native population. I want to thank my colleagues at Utah Foster Care who have supported the work, and then I want to also thank my family. My parents, Howard and Beverly Benally, my siblings, Jennifer, Jonathan, and Benjamin, my spouse, Aram, my kids, Chloe, Kalia, and David. Without the support of my family, I would have, they've helped a lot in the work that I do. When I need to have, drop-offs, my family's always there to lend a hand in collecting donations and dropping them off to our foster families. It has been a privilege to work with the 8 tribes in Utah and our community partners. Over the years, I have witnessed how our Native children have thrived in Native homes. I have witnessed the generous donations from our community members as they donate to our foster parents and foster kids in care. My hope is to increase the number of Native kids in the state of Utah. And with that, I hope that you share the message that Native homes for our Native children. Let's continue to support Native children and keep them connected to their culture and to their heritage. Thank you.
We are a very fast-growing nonprofit comprised of people of all over, not just Africa. We are able to educate the community about the African cultures, and we do different events in the area, and the greatest one, which is the African Heritage Festival, where we get to really bring the communities actually together into the spirit of Ubuntu, which is a spirit of Africa, of oneness, acceptance, of togetherness, of inclusion. And there we get to have people also from all over Utah, different businesses, to come and showcase what they do. And it's an event that is well attended, and we are really grateful for that opportunity to mingle with different communities. I love the fact that I see people who are very eager to learn about Africa, and we are really proud to bring in all these people from all over Africa who are either here as immigrants, refugees, or students, and very eager to share their cultures when they get that opportunity through our programs. And when you see that aha moment where people are like, wow, we laugh the same, we do the same things, basically. We have more in common than we think.
Welcome to the stage, and the prompt just went off. Welcome to the stage. The prompt just went off again. We're working on that. Okay, thank you. Welcome to the stage from Igome Africa Cultural Center. Their founder, artistic director, and president, Yvonne Saibe Bashiriki.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be here tonight and receive this award. I want to thank first Utah Business and Living Color to invite me to be one of the honorees for this award. Thank you. I would like to just say my name again because I know it's a hard thing to pronounce. It's a Rwandese name. I'm from Rwanda, and I've had this many places. I go by Yvonne Tsabimana Baraketse. I was a refugee in Belgium and a refugee in the US, and receiving this award is really an honor, and I would like to recognize the people who made me who I am today, my parents, for their resilience and hardworking example. I would like to thank my husband and my children for believing in me, even when I have to drag them to rehearsals until midnight sometimes. I would like to recognize and thank all the people who work with me at Ngoma Africa Culture Center. Most of them are people who don't have much time. They are in school or they are working, and this award goes to you too. I would like also to thank my siblings who always are there as good advice and supporting me in all I do. I would like also to recognize all the community partners that work with us at Ngoma Africa Culture Center, either UVU African Diaspora and many, many more that I would, if I start naming them, I will never leave this place. And I think together we are stronger as we work in this important work of making Utah a diverse place. As the African proverb said, if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Thank you, murakoze, asante, merci beaucoup.
Okay, now we would like to recognize our honorees in the government category. And again, if we turn our attention to the screen.
When we think about diversity and inclusion, there's a difference between what we do in government, what we do in the private sector, and what we do in the nonprofit world. And in government, a lot of what we do in particular is not trying to solve all the problems on our own, but lean on our community outwardly. And inwardly, one of the things that we try and do is represent what our community looks like within our department. So making sure that we're making the right hires and connecting with the community in the right ways. What we try to do in the department and what we try to do in the city more is be open with our community about how, especially our diverse community, about how these programs are developed in the first place. And getting that process right, I think, means quite a bit to the community. We hear you should do it for the social good, and you should. You should do it because it's the right thing to do. But if you look at even just the profit lines of a business and thinking about, if I have a product that I want to reach a diverse audience, you've got to have input and feedback from the wider community, not just one community. You've really got to have a diverse representation and feedback into what you're doing as a business if you're going to have a better product in the end.
Please welcome to the stage Ben Kolindar, being recognized this evening for his work as the former Director of Economic Development with Salt Lake City. Ben.
Wow, those lights are bright. I can't see your faces, but I do just want to say thank you first and foremost to my wife, Michonne, who's here. You know, a lot of the craziness through the pandemic and through this job and connecting with our communities, I couldn't have done it without you. Also, you know, I'm really humbled and grateful for this award because I feel like most of this is just from listening and paying attention to our diverse organizations that are out there. Most notably, I think about Sylvia with the Swazo Business Center. Thank you, Sylvia, for all the partnership while I was with the city, and James with the Black Chamber as well. We couldn't have, I feel like I can't take as much credit for this award because it's just collaboration and listening and trying to, you know, figure out how to make it all work together in government. It's a hard thing to do, but I think when you listen, it makes it a little bit easier. So I just want to say thanks to your guidance more than anything. And, you know, I just also want to say it's so wonderful to see the progress of Living Color Utah over the last 5 years and the growth and the engagement. And it's wonderful to be a part of it. And thank you for the recognition and to all the partnerships while I was with the city, for the many who I didn't mention in the room. So thank you.
When I was running for office, the first thing that I would always tell people is, you know, you need to be involved. And so one of the things that I really enjoy is when I meet people who tell me, even if they're not in my city, that because I'm on the council or because they saw me running for office, that they now participate in their local government. They go to the city council meetings, or they watch them live streamed, or they send, you know, emails or text messages to their council members. And these are folks who have probably never attended a council meeting in their life. So it's really fun for me to find out that people are interested in making a difference in their city because of what I've done. One thing that people are probably afraid of the most is that they're going to have to give something up. And I want people to understand that including diversity, including equitable ideas, that does not take anything away from you. It doesn't take anything away from your business. It actually adds to you. It adds to your character. It adds to who you are as a person. It adds to the way that you view life, the way that you see things, and helps you to have a better response. We can come up with solutions together that are going to benefit everybody.
Let us welcome to the stage Councilwoman with Layton City Council, Bettina Smith Edmondson.
Good evening. Thank you for honoring me with this award. I first want to thank God because He's the reason that I have everything that I have. He's the reason for the successes that I've experienced in life. I'm also grateful to the residents of Layton City for entrusting me to make decisions on their behalf. I want to give a special thank you to two people who make it possible for me to do what I do as an elected official. That's my husband, Sean, who walked me up here, and also my mother, Carolyn. I have two small children, a teenager as well, and if it wasn't for the work and the sacrifices that they allow me to make, that I wouldn't be able to do all that I do. So I thank them for their support. I also want to thank my children that I mentioned, Amaris, Ezekiel, and Tiana. They're not here tonight, as well as my family who's here, some visiting from near, some from far, who chose to come and support me on tonight. I also want to thank the mayor of Layton City, Joy Petro, and the Layton City Council. We have a really good council. We were able to work together and make decisions for hard solutions at times, and I'm grateful for that. Lastly, I want to thank all of my family and friends who have supported me throughout this entire process. Your prayers, your support, your love, all of that has been very helpful, and I appreciate you for that. And I'm honored to be recognized among this group of rock stars here. I'm excited to be a part of what Utah is doing and the strides that Utah is making in the way of diversity. I was born and raised here, so I understand how things have changed, and I'm really grateful to be a part of that. Thank you.
I have loved my time in the Salt Lake County Council and in the Utah State Legislature. I loved working with our colleagues who, from all sides of the aisle, I think that we work together to make a better product a lot of times, and in the Senate we have a great relationship together. As a minority, I'm one in, I think, 5 women, 1 in 6 Democrats, and 1 in 2 minority people of color, and we are able to get good policy done. Also, people don't realize our great staff that we have, legislative staff, attorneys, fiscal analysts, auditors, and our own staff, legislative staff, and how much that they do for us. I always say this, but it's true. My constituency is at the forefront of everything I do. They're the #1 priority for me. And I represent my community, my district, my state. It's important that we remember the equality for all and how we treat each other and make sure that all of us have the same opportunities as every citizen should have.
Please join us as we welcome Jana Iwamoto, Assistant Minority Whip with the Utah State Senate.
Wow, it is bright up here. I just want to thank Utah Business and Living Color Utah. I'm honored to be counted alongside tonight's other awardees. Utah is rich in diversity and culture, and we have so much to celebrate, such as our public support for the 2010 Utah Compact on Racial Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and the coming together in 2010 for the Utah Compact on Immigration. As the first Asian American woman to be elected to office in Utah, and as a grandchild of immigrants, those moments were not lost on me. And as I said, as a minority in many ways in the Senate, I know that we can effectively pass meaningful legislation and appropriations through collaboration with those from all sides of the aisle. We may not always see policy and life the same way, but we learn from each other and move forward together. This past session, I sponsored Senate Bill 58, Days of Remembrance, observing the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II. This year was significant because it marked the 80th anniversary of President Roosevelt's signing of Executive Order 9066, which facilitated the incarceration of approximately 120,000 Japanese American men, women, and children, American citizens, into camps, including Topaz near Delta, Utah. In 2020, I was the Senate sponsor for the Utah Raptor State Park. The state park includes the infamous Moab Isolation Center in Dalton Wells, which housed Japanese Americans who were deemed troublemakers because they spoke up against violations while incarcerated. Recognizing our history and lived experiences are critical. We need to learn about each other's past, even though uncomfortable, to be able to move forward with real change. Even as Americans, we know that our personal rights guaranteed under our sacred Constitution can be taken away, and history does unfortunately repeat itself. Each of us in this room knows that justice is a matter of continuing education. Thank you so much.
Utah Tech Leads, we're here to represent tech companies, and when you look at the data and what tech companies are trying to do, they're actively trying to diversify their workforce. There's data that shows that companies are bringing more revenue, they build better products, they build better teams, and so we want to make sure that Utah is inclusive. We do that by representing tech at the legislature. Some of the things I'd love to see with diversity and inclusion efforts in Utah is I think inherently people want to do better, want representation. They don't know how. We have to give people grace. We have to meet them where they're at and let them know that they're welcome to ask questions and ask for help. And then we want these organizations to recognize that there are issues and that they want to make things better. And I think that it takes both sides to make that happen. I think one of the most important things to know about diversity and inclusion is the fact that it's not scary and it's so rewarding when you see diverse teams, when you see people being welcoming. I know what it's like to always be the other or be the only, and when I see groups that aren't that and they are inclusive, I think that it brings a wealth of knowledge, experience, empathy, and I think that's really important for us to have in our community.
Okay, congratulations and welcome to the stage, the CEO of Utah Tech Leads, Sonny Washington.
First of all, it's really embarrassing to see yourself on screen, but second of all, I see Utah a lot like I see my children, which I love them, they disappoint me, but I see the potential, and you know, I really think that Utah has so much potential, and I look at this room and I can see it. I was at a Utah tech founder event today, and someone said, "Where are all the black people?" And y'all are here. So they need to invite you next time. Here's the reality. There are so many people here who have not waited to be invited, not waited to create a seat or say, hey, come to our table. They've just taken that seat. And you need to take your seats because there are a whole group of people at the state government that are not giving those seats. Not because they don't want to, well, some of them, yeah, but a lot of them, they just don't know how, they don't know where, they would love to have you, but they're gonna, they don't know how to invite. And so you're going to have to take those seats. And I think through that we can have a better state. And I'm really excited about the potential. And thank you so much for this honor.
Let's give one more big round of applause for our government honorees. Yes, yes. We will now honor those individuals that have and are currently making a difference in our education category. Again, turn your attention to the video screens.
For the past 2 years, we have had a Utah Ethnic Studies Coalition, and the Utah Ethnic Studies Coalition consists of educators, parents, researchers advocating to incorporate ethnic studies into the Utah state standards for K-12 students. And we were very excited this year because the legislature passed this bill unanimously. The purpose of Utah Ethnic Studies is to honor the heritage and hard work of our historic and modern day people by teaching the stories of all who call Utah home. It strengthens the skills of Utah students so they can serve and work successfully within Utah, the U.S., and abroad. And then most importantly, it prepares our youth from every corner of our state to compete locally in the nation's fastest growing 21st century economy. And so we are grateful for all who helped work on this bill to ensure that our students can learn about their rich heritage as well as the culture and heritage of others.
Please welcome to the stage community activist and former Davis County Assistant Superintendent with Davis County School District, Dr. Jacqueline Thompson.
First, give an honor to God. It is indeed a privilege and honor to be here with each and every one of you. I want to thank Living Color and Utah Business for this honor, and all the outstanding honorees. You give us the strength to continue on in the work that we do. I'd like to also thank my husband, Ed, and also tonight, my son, Eddie, and daughter-in-law, Carmen, are here with me, and so I'd like to thank them. It's the strength of the family and the unity that we continue to grow and be strong together. And so for that, I am so proud and pleased to have my son Michael and his wife Rachel as part of our family and our 4 grandchildren, because the work that we do will affect not only our children, but our children's children and generations unborn. And so that is so important. I'd like to also give a special thanks to all the educators that are in the room, all the educators that are in the state of Utah and in our nation, because to teach is to touch a life forever, and to provide all of our students with the opportunity for educational equity and excellence in all that they do. We moved to Utah in 1984, and it has truly changed since then. It is becoming more diverse. We are celebrating that diversity. We are doing it through our rich, diverse cultures that we have seen here tonight, through all the performances and celebration, and teaching our students to be proud of who they are and what they bring to the table, where each and every one of them feels safe, valued, respected, honored, and have the potential to be whatever they want to be. It has been said that service to others is the rent that we pay for living on earth. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Mrs. Michelle Loveday, who has the Rise Virtual Academy. where again she helps our students to honor who they are, to learn about their rich Black history and the world in which they live, and to be proud. It is an honor to be here again with you tonight. I'd like to thank you, and I love each and every one of you. May God bless you. Thank you.
Out of all the things that I get to do in my job at the Utah System of Higher Education, I would say creating more access for historically marginalized populations is a huge just passion of mine. Someone once told me that education is the great equalizer. We can't have a free and just democracy without quality, equitable education. And so ensuring that all of Utah's students have access to education, whether they be undocumented students, whether they be refugees, whether they be Black, Indigenous, people of color, we want to make sure that all of our students are educated across the state. So my grandmother is the most inspiring woman in my life. She only had access to a formal 8th grade education. And so I carry her with me always when I think about policies to advocate for more access for students. I'm thinking about students like her that maybe didn't get the opportunity. So hopefully just opening doors and creating more opportunities.
Please welcome to the stage Lais Martinez, an inaugural Assistant Commissioner of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion with the Utah System of Higher Education.
It is extremely bright up here, so I want to start by thanking the Utah Business for curating such a beautiful space to honor Black and Brown excellence, and for considering me in the same category with my fellow nominees. This work does not happen in silos or isolation, so I honor every Chief Diversity Officer pushing to advance educational equity in a college-university setting. So often, these are under-resourced, overtaxed, thankless jobs, and so I honor them today. I also want to thank the Board of Higher Education and the System Office for trusting me as the inaugural Assistant Commissioner for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion for the State Office of Higher Education. And then I also want to just thank the folks that I get to work with, the folks who are working on the ground, the folks who are in the Dream Centers, in our first generation LGBTQ multicultural centers, working directly with students. It is my biggest honor to work with them hand in hand. And I want to also thank our community organizers and grassroots folks who put their bodies on the line to be able to ensure that we are moving equity and justice efforts forward across the state. I am a child of the diaspora and an answer to my ancestors and to myself. And so with that, I am, here representing my wildest dreams, to be able to sit at the table and make decisions about policy and practices that are going to change the material conditions of students across the state of Utah. I also want to thank my oldest kid. He's in the room with me today, Winter. Thank you for sharing me. Thank you for sharing me with Utah's students. And today, as I look out into this room, I am radically imagining what is possible in Utah. Thank you.
Westminster easily stands out as a thought action leader in diversity, equity, and inclusion because we are courageous enough to take a look at what we've done well as areas that we need to improve on. It's including students on our strategic committees. It's including faculty. It's including our staff members, seeking their input, seeking their feedback on a variety of projects and programs, surveying our students, staff, and faculty around what belonging looks like to them. Westminster looks forward to achieving ongoing engagement with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Honestly, diversity, equity, and inclusion is not a zero-sum game. It's the best way to go about it is to seek continuous improvement. And that's what we get to do every day on our campus with our students, staff, and faculty to be able to see how to better create a sense of belonging for all who participate on our campus. It doesn't happen without a team. It doesn't happen without a diversity of backgrounds, perspectives, lived experiences to ensure that we are being as inclusive as we can and always seeking continuous improvement.
Congratulations to Westminster College joining us and accepting the award today. On their behalf, please welcome to the stage Dr. Tamara Stevenson, Vice President, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Chief Diversity Officer and Associate Professor of Communications with Westminster College.
Thank you to Utah Business and the Living Color Utah Selection Committee for recognizing Westminster in this significant and meaningful way. I am really nervous. Whew. Congratulations to the nominees for tonight as well. So without question, the work of diversity, equity, and inclusion, access, and belonging at Westminster is a shared responsibility. We cannot do this work in the ways we get to do it without the support, the guidance, the encouragement, honestly, the permission to shake the proverbial table, to disrupt the status quo toward creating a more inclusive and equitable campus community and global society. So this gets to happen thanks to the daring and dynamic leadership of Westminster's president, Dr. Beth Dobkin, with campus leaders, many of whom are here tonight, along with members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and most important, our students, who are the primary reason and inspiration for this work. So how do I stay up? How do I get my inspiration? I get them from these immortal words of the prolific hip-hop artist, Kendrick Lamar. We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gonna be all right. Thank you.
Please give our honorees in the education category one more big round of applause. Thank you for all that you do. Now let's learn and hear from our honorees that are doing their part with engaging in community involvement. Again, if your attention to the screens.
My favorite part of what I do, which I don't consider it a job, I consider it my purpose,
is being able to plant seeds of self-belief, self-value in young people, doing that in a way that I believe that those seeds will then blossom into trees that fruit and have more seeds and are able to empower other people in the future. So one of my favorite things about what I do is the limitless legacy and the potential for limitless impact. I think one of the ways that I personally am helping to shape the landscape of diversity and inclusion is just by being myself. The best thing that I can do to help when it comes to diversity and inclusion is one of the things that we all can do, be an example. I'm a firm believer in diversity because I believe in potential, I believe in possibilities, and with diversity comes both of those. You know, we're all limited, but together we are limitless.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage, the founding director of Nurture the Creative Mind, Amir Jackson.
I would first like to thank Utah Business for putting on this wonderful event. Next, I would like to thank my sisters and brothers, fellow honorees, past, present, and those to come. Thank you for being the example of what the world needs, for your vision, dedication, and your many selfless sacrifices. I extend my sincere gratitude to you. Thank you to those who nominated me. Belief is a powerful gift. There are times that I doubt myself, my worth, my value, and without you knowing, I have leaned on you to build a foundation of belief that I would then believe in myself. For that, I am eternally grateful. I would like to take a moment to speak to my future self. I want to thank you for not giving up, the times that you felt neglected, ignored, mistreated, and unseen. Thank you for believing, continuing to believe, and being a lighthouse. I am proud of you, and I look forward to meeting you soon. My grandmother is not here today, but I can feel her slapping me in the back of my head if I did not end this properly. So, I must thank God for the blessing that is my ability and the opportunity to live my life with purpose. I stand before you today, grateful, honored, humbled, and worthy. I thank you.
I think for me, it's more about connection. I'm Filipino, I'm Tagalog, Bicol Nun, so we have this cultural concept of bayanihan, this spirit of the community of bringing everyone together to accomplish a common goal. And I believe our community's common goal, being Filipino, being Asian, being connected to the Pacific Islander communities, is to uplift one another. So we're not just surviving in the state of Utah, we're thriving, and that we're really celebrating our 150 plus year history and doing that together. For me, it's being able to understand our history and our past and really learning that from our elders to be able to move our story forward and really be informed in how we're continuing to be involved in our Asian and Pacific Islander communities. Similarly, for first generation students, letting them know that, most of the time, when people talk about first gen, it's through a deficit lens, right? First gen students don't know this or don't know that or don't have these resources. I'm trying to flip the script and really turning it into an asset-based approach and letting them know you have all of these things in your community, in your culture, in your family that help you and support you in your process to graduating college and even afterward. Let's focus on that instead of focusing on what you don't have and making sure that we're doing that in both the community end and in the higher education end.
Please welcome to the stage the immediate past president of OCA, Asian Pacific Island American Advocates, Utah, and director of the Utah Valley University First Gen Student Success Center, Emilio Manuel Camus.
Mabuhay! Magpasalamat kang natanim ka sa matabang lupa, meaning be grateful for you were born and planted in fertile soil. Is a Tagalog pangaral, a proverb that has been passed down to me by my mother, through her mother, and so forth for generations. I share this because receiving this award would not have been possible without the mentorship, guidance, and activism of those who have existed before me to live in this community. During the pandemic, the most recent reiteration of anti-Asian hate and violence led to further activism and engagement in our Asian American communities, which sometimes has led to discussions from those new to organizing to share the phrase, Asian Americans have never spoken up, or it's only now that Asians are active. Through this award, I am reminded that as we continue to push forward and make change, we must also engage our friends and community and help them to understand how we got to where we are, to pass down the knowledge, lessons, and stories from the leaders of generations that have come before us, the centuries of activism and organizing, and the solidarity and legacy they have built for us to learn from. I should be so lucky to accept this responsibility and dedicate my life to carry this tradition of creating fertile soil for future seeds to be planted in, grow from, and blossom. I am but one in a garden of many. I humbly accept this award and dedicate this not only to my husband, Carl, my family and community, who I'm so lucky to be surrounded by tonight, but to all those mentors, guides, my aunties and uncles, who've never been recognized, but continue to do the unpaid work for our communities to thrive, succeed, and be happy. Taos-pusong pasasalamat sa inyo, at mabuhay kayong lahat.
So in my dance group, we have females, males. We also have those who identify as other. You don't have to be Polynesian to be in our group. You're able to participate. You're able to learn of the different cultures. And I think that's the main important thing, to learn of each other's culture so we can have that respect and that ground of love, being kind to one another and be compassionate. Here in Utah, we're so diverse. Everyone and their different culture, their ethnic that they come from, we all have a common ground. We all have a purpose, especially through everything that we do. The conversation piece that we say, the cultures that we are combined into one, we have our heart and soul. There's a purpose for each of us, for everyone to know their value in not only in their space, but in the community and in Utah itself.
Please welcome to the stage Mayor Vida Tutalab. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I know I'm going to ask her to come and pronounce her name correctly. I do apologize. I've been practicing on stage, and I'm still not getting it right, so I do apologize.
Talofalava. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. My name is Marine Vida Tuitamalelangi Hafoka. It's just a beautiful honor to be here with so many amazing individuals in our community. My heartfelt appreciation to the Utah business Living Colors. Thank you so much for the award and for recognizing our Malialole Polynesian Cultural Arts Ensemble. I dedicate this award to the many of those who've been through our doors of Malialole Polynesian Cultural Arts Ensemble, from parents to musicians to dancers, to volunteers. I especially dedicate this award to my children and grandchildren, and for those who have passed on, my parents who believed in diversity. Thank you so much, and what a beautiful event. Lots of alofas and ofas. Faftay lava.
Oftentimes, a lot of people who have multiple marginalizations often have to choose which spaces they can go into because there's not one that fully accepts all parts of them. And so Unidex is really important to queer and Latinx folks, so that way they do always have a home in a space where there are other people like them who understand what they're going through, who they don't have to explain themselves to, feel judged by. It's a really cool program. I think the biggest challenge, honestly, and most people don't like to hear this, are just, the values and the folks that uphold the values of white supremacy and patriarchy. The idea that anybody who's other than the heteronormative, cisgender white male identity is someone who has to work harder to be at the same table, who has to put in even more work than most people would to be offered the same opportunities. And I think it's important for people to recognize that we want to practice equity. And so that's really hard for people to do when they have stockholders and people that they need to answer to. And that's why community work, community engagement is so important, because it's a grassroots effort and we're able to stick to the reason of why we create these spaces and why we want to validate these individuals.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage, Nicholas Artiga, Safe Zone Foundation Board Vice President, Vice Chair, and co-founder of Unidex Salt Lake City.
With the lights and these lashes, let's see if I can do it. Thank you, Utah Business and Living Color, and all of you for this award and for the recognition for my years of volunteer work with my beloved LGBTQIA+ community, and of course my BIPOC community, and more specifically my queer and Latinx, Chicanx community and family. Whew. Okay. As a fat, queer, neurodivergent trans person of color living in Utah, it is really hard for me to be out in a society that still believes that I shouldn't exist or don't exist. But I absolutely deserve to, so it's an honor to be here with all of you. I have a lot to say. Although I've been out as a transmasculine, non-binary person of color for years, the world is still unsafe for me and people like me. That's why the work that I do is so important to me. And to my queer community, I see you and you matter. And of course, being a trans activist is a 24/7 job. And so I want to recognize too that it's a privilege to be able to donate and volunteer my time to my community, and especially the program that is most near and dear to me is Unidex, which focuses on creating spaces, resources, educational opportunities for the queer and Latinx community. I'm also proud, of course, to be part of the Safe Zone Board, which offers trainings to small businesses and nonprofits that wouldn't otherwise be able to have access to this kind of training. And of course, I just wanted to say we need to normalize the outstanding work that me and all of us are doing. And I look forward to spaces like these being more accessible and no longer considered exceptional to do work outside of white-centered spaces. It's not fair for historically excluded groups of people to be expected to do the work within their communities for free when other more privileged groups receive livable wages and compensation for the same work with less understanding and connection to those communities that they serve. So I look forward, and I imagine all of you do too, to unburdening those of us who have been purposefully excluded, for those who feel unsafe in this world that continues to marginalize us, when it's so much easier to end the gatekeeping and make space for everyone. I love the work that I do. I do, and know that there's so much more work ahead of us, and I'm honored to be part of the leaders of Living Color, working hard every day to make that happen. Thank you.
What an incredible group. Let's please give them one more round of applause. Incredible. Now let's look at the corporations that are working hard to bring diversity and inclusion awareness to their businesses. Again, we will turn our attention to the screens to learn more.
I have been heavily involved with the Utah State Bar to help change the landscape of the legal community in Utah. Through various leadership positions that I've taken, I've endeavored to increase the representation of our community on those leadership boards that I help lead. For example, when I was the co-chair of the Spring Convention Committee, I made sure that we had adequate representation from people of color, attorneys of color, from LGBTQ+, and also made sure that we had geographic diversity. At Parsons, Bailey, and Latimer, I have started the Attorney of Color Affinity Group, which is a mentoring group and a pathway to leadership for attorneys of color in our firm to make sure that they continue to rise through the ranks of leadership. It's important to have diversity in our industry so that we can bring different perspectives to the table, so that we can come up with ingenious ways of solving our clients' problems. We have to be innovative as our worlds modernize, as problems become more complicated. And the best way to serve our clients is to bring a diversity of viewpoints, and by bringing diverse people to the table.
Please give a warm welcome to Abigail Dizon-Mon, attorney with Parsons, Bailey, and Lattimore.
It is a remarkable and resplendent experience to be here tonight to witness this intersection between our history, our present, and our future. And I look to Miss Betty Sawyer, who is our tireless historian, who teaches us that Black history and Brown history and indigenous history is our history. And I look to my mom and my dad, who are co-founders of one of Utah's first Filipino social organizations, the Philippine American Bayanihan Association of Utah. It is for their work that I am able to do the work that I do in the legal community. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for that. And I look to the present, and I look to the honorees tonight. Thank you for sharing your passions, your commitment to the communities, to making Utah a better place. And I look to my colleagues, my friends, my confidants, and my comrades at Parsons, Bailey, and Latimer for their courage to stand with me as we change the face of this legal community, as we increase the access to justice, and we make the legal community, we make the justice system something that not just rich white people can play in. So thank you for that. And for the future, I look to my kids, to Noah and to Soledad, who are seated right over there. Kids, look at this room. Look at the people who are in this room. Learn from them and emulate them, because when I'm too old and too tired to keep doing the work, you're gonna have to pick it up. So, to my kids, learn from them. And to my forever, to James, I don't believe in soulmates, but because of James, I believe in forever. So thank you for being my forever. And thank you everyone tonight. I'm truly honored and I'm blessed. Thank you.
I was in the United States Navy before I moved to Utah. I moved to Utah in 1992. I was a software engineer in the Navy, and I came here to work for some of the, what I would call early tech companies, WordPerfect and Novell. And when I came here, I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. But over 30 years, I've come to see Utah blossom into an area where diversity is expanding and increasing. What I'm seeing now as I venture into the community, as I meet with other business leaders, as I interact with other companies here, I'm seeing not just a smattering of diversity, but I'm seeing a more deliberate focus on diversity. That is what I'd like to continue to see, is this effort to not just recruit people that look a certain way, sound a certain way, not people who simply check a box, but I would love to see the continued effort to expand the radius of the acquisition of talent and the recruitment of talent so that it can enrich and bring the benefits of diversity. And I'd like to be a part of it going forward.
Please welcome to the stage former CEO of Weave, Roy Banks. Roy, I can't see in the lights. There's Roy moving toward us. Well, we're still going to give Roy a round of applause, right? We are pleased to recognize our inspirational leaders, honorees. If you would please turn your attention again to the video screens.
Diversity in healthcare is so important because that's the only way that we're going to address health inequities, and that's the only way that outcomes are gonna improve. When people feel like they're working with someone that is just like them or that gets them, they do a lot better, and that's documented. I am involved in doing that in several fronts. The first wave is through intervening with the medical students before they leave. So while they're still cooking, the cake isn't set yet, we're putting in a lot of diversity. It also has the additional benefit that the people of color in the school feel validated. The other way that we diversify and include also is through the work of the Utah Area Health Education Centers. That organization that I lead is really concerned with the workforce, the health workforce for the state. We cannot afford to keep on going with these health inequities. The US cannot afford it, they're too expensive. And that's only in money, but it's expense in the pain and suffering of the minorities in the United States.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage, Yvette Lopez, professor at the University of Utah and director of the Utah Area Health Education Centers. Okay, let's give Miss Yvette another round of applause. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Everyone has been given an opportunity, a chance. I mean, we're all in relationships. We're all working for a company or even working for ourselves. Someone has given us an opportunity. Someone said, you know what? I believe that you can provide what I'm looking for a little bit better, a little bit brighter, a little bit different than what I'm currently providing. And so I want people to take away from that, realizing that there's opportunity to grow within our own communities because we have people that bring so much to the table, and we don't want them being left out from that table, from that experience. I have the fortune of being able to help people connect themselves with opportunities out at the airport because they decided to go out and work for the most difficult person that they ever decided to work for, themselves. So why not advocate them and help them through this little tough task of finding those opportunities so that way they can provide a better mousetrap, a better way of doing business. And it benefits the airport as well as it benefits a local community.
Whenever we have all of this excitement going on, sometimes we just have to pause for just a moment. Miss Yvette is in the audience, and after Raymond comes up, come on, Mr. Christie, come on up here. We're going to have Miss Yvette give some remarks as well. But please welcome to the stage our airport senior planner, disadvantaged business Enterprise Liaison Officer with Salt Lake City Department of Airports and the Salt Lake International Airport, Raymond Christie.
Wow. They should never give a microphone to me, but I want to read a poem that made it to the cutting floor. So, and thanks to the bright lights, I can actually see this. I saw them tearing a building down, a team of men in my hometown. With a heave and a ho and a yes, yes yell, they swung a beam and the sidewall fell. And I said to the foreman, "Are there men of skill, like the ones you use if you had to build?" And he laughed and he said, "Oh, no, no indeed. The most common labor is all I need, for I can destroy in a day or two what it takes a builder 10 years to do." So I thought to myself as I went on my way, which one of these roles am I willing to play? Am I who is wearing, am I one who is tearing down as carelessly make my way around town, or am I one who builds with care in order to make the world a little bit better because I was there? I'm honored to be here tonight for the work that I have done, but I have to give thanks to God for giving me the opportunity to wake up every morning to fight another day, fight a better fight. I'm also here to say thank you to my family, to my kids. And I look at them and I look and I wonder and I hope and I pray and I skill them, or try to, because you can't skill and train or teach preteens and teenagers. But with your help, my village, with your help, I can do that, which is I want them to be judged by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin. I'm thankful for my fiance who listens and sometimes just dismisses me, but gives me the opportunity to give me some of the right language, the right thought, the right care for me to get up each day and go out there and do it all over again and come back and do it again. I thank my airport family and friends, because a lot of them are here tonight, and I know they're being quiet right now because they're like, "Raymond's talking, okay." But I thank them. I thank my airport family for those folks that can take a message into rooms that I don't have access to, but they're taking that message across, and for that, I'm thankful for them. I'm also thankful for the honorees that are here in this room, because I am reminded that all of us are standing on the shoulders of people that have come before us that made the view a little bit better. So it is our job to make the view better for those that come after us. Finally, and in conclusion, I'm thankful to the honorees, the other advocates in this room. And I'm humbled because there's people in this room that I've known for 30 plus years. Betty Sawyer, Jackie Thompson, I've known for 30 plus years, and I've always wondered, what in the world do they do to get up each day and do what they do and continue doing it and getting up? And when I read this poem, The Builder, I got it. They wanted to build just like I do. I want to build because I was there. I want to leave it better than what I received it on. So with that, and for this recognition, thank you very much. I want to thank the small business owners that are in the house tonight that are a part of our program out at the airport, and I look forward to talking to more and more of you to make this place just a little bit better because we are here. Thank you and good night.
So again, we would like to welcome to the stage Professor Yvette Lopez. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. You're so amazing. Wow. I hope I'm worth the wait. I don't know if any of you went to the bathroom. But, I mean, I almost wanted to take a cab over. It was all the way. I'm sorry. It was just, I couldn't believe it. Really? More? Longer? What? But, so, ergo, I'm late. Anyway, so I first of all want to say that I can think of at least 20 people that are just as deserving of this honor. I hope you have them here next year. So gratitude is the theme, I guess. And for me, that's a daily ritual, to think of things that you're grateful for. And even little things, But I'm grateful because my mom and dad, Luis Lopez and Maria Cristina Berrios, gave me every single thing that I needed to succeed in life, to be where I am today, except for money. But that was my job. My mother actually said, "Eso te toca a ti," which means that's your part. But I want to be thankful for, and I'm thankful for family, extended family. And even when they pester you with love, they're just fabulous. I want to thank the people that I work with because, they deserve this. I should cut that into 4 pieces and give everyone a piece. First of all, Tatiana Allen Webb and Maria Isabel Gomez and Sydney Myers and Maria Jose Velasco. And they are my team at the Utah AHEC, and I thank you so much, because without you, together we're mighty. I want to thank Dr. Kola Okunyemi, because he hired me. He gave me the job that I have, and Dr. Jose Rodriguez, who pestered me incessantly, to which I would reply, "Jose, what has to go wrong for a Puerto Rican to end up in Utah?" That's just, And he said, "Mi hermana, just come and interview." And I said, "Okay, I'll interview." And he was right. There was something I recognized immediately as destiny or something like that. I want to thank also all my colleagues, my CHW team, they called it SOMCHU, School of Medicine CHWs. I am inspired greatly every day that I get to work, the great honor of working with you, and learned from you every time. And so I can't say all 20 names, but I know they will be future recipients of these awards. And this is not in order, so don't discount points. I also want to thank my husband, Toma Bruscato, and he's the one that is always supporting me, even though now he gets to push me around in a wheelchair. But, you know, babe, when you signed on the dotted line, you didn't know. But, you know, like the emoji says, I think, let's see, who else I want to thank? I want to thank all the people that went before me here speaking. You have touched my heart, each of you, in your own way. And I want to thank all the students I've had in all of the states that I've lived in, because they become part of my family. And that's it. Thank you so much.
So the favorite part of my job is really helping businesses understand that there's tremendous talent and opportunity in Utah's diverse communities. I really want to make sure that we help educate our youth to be in the right place at the right time for their opportunities. And in doing that, we're going to help elevate all business opportunities for our state. One of the people that inspires me is my mother. My mother is a retired public school teacher. I see the work that she did throughout her professional life and the work a lot of educators do. And I think oftentimes they're not appreciated in the way they should be. And it's inspiring to see how hard she worked and to be recognized also as a Huntsman Award recipient. So she was definitely someone that inspired me. So I think it's important that businesses have a diverse workforce because diversity is coming. The talent is there, so we want to educate our diverse communities so that they can fully be part of our Utah economic opportunity, and in turn, they will open up new markets to Utah businesses. So it really is a win-win.
Ross Romero is the CEO of Inclusion Strategies, and accepting on his behalf tonight is his son, Marcus Romero.
Wow, did anyone mention it was bright up here? Hello. My name is Marcus Romero, and I'm proud to accept this award on behalf of my father, Ross Romero. Ross is currently in Washington, D.C., and unable to accept this award tonight, but he wanted me to pass along his congratulations to the other awardees who are being recognized by the Utah Business Magazine and for highlighting Utah's diverse leaderships through the Living Color Award. He also wanted me to pass his appreciation along to Silva Castro from the Suazo Business Center for his nomination. He also wanted me to thank Jorge Robles, who is attending this award gala with me, and for assisting on the projects for the inclusion strategies from time to time. Thank you again, and thank you for this recognition.
Domo has made huge leaps and bounds in a conceited effort to drive not only a diversity of thought, but diversity of culture and acceptance, and making investments in programs externally and internally within the organization. My favorite part about my job is managing and helping other young sales reps learn how to be great at what they do and to provide a wonderful means for their families. I also have the benefit where Domo has allowed me to sit on the Utah Polynesian Professionals Board, and in doing so, I'm able to mentor and teach Pacific Islanders, women, any other diverse groups into tech sales role, whether it be at Domo or anywhere else, and they support me in that. What I want people to know about the importance of diversity and inclusion is that we all have unique experiences, and I believe that each of our unique experiences define us in who we are, and as we bring each of our uniqueness and background to the table, it allows us to be much better and stronger as a whole.
Unfortunately, Siani wasn't able to join us this evening, but accepting the award on his behalf, please welcome his eldest daughter, Destiny Havili.
It's really bright up here. Okay. Hello. My name is Destiny Havili, and like she said, I am the oldest of Shiona Havili's kids. I'm currently a student at BYU Hawaii, and I'm so grateful to be with you all today. Unfortunately, my father is unable to join us this evening, but he has asked me to accept this amazing award in his place. As for my father, he's a first-generation American citizen and the son of Tongan immigrants, Devita and Elva Havili. My father has made it his life's mission to advocate and provide opportunities for any and all unrepresented minorities, whether it be Pacific Islanders, women, the formerly incarcerated, and so many others. For as long as I could remember, I've seen him spend much of his free time mentoring, coaching, and placing countless underrepresented minorities into breakthrough tech roles across the Silicon Slopes. Earlier this year, his testimony in front of the Utah State Senate played a critical role in the unanimous passing of Senate Bill 95, a bill designed to protect employers from liability if they are willing to give candidates with a criminal record a second chance. These are just two of many examples that I can think of off the top of my head. But these examples exemplify the powerful impact that my father's body of work has had in this community when it comes to diversity. He absolutely loves this work and is extremely honored to be among the long listed of esteemed Living Color Gala Award recipients that are being recognized in this magnificent evening. Thank you.
I do diversity training. So I started doing that a few years ago, and then in the last couple of years, it has kind of grown a lot because companies and organizations are realizing how much these conversations are needed. So that's what I do on a professional level. And then because I'm the mother to a neurodiverse autistic teenager, on a local level, I created Awesome Autistic Ogden, and the point of that is to help create a more inclusive, kinder, accepting, and loving community for people who are different. My favorite part about the work I do is when I can be a part of someone's aha moment, when I can see that I'm making an impact, because I know that these conversations can be challenging and they can be uncomfortable, and we all come into the situations with our preconceived notions and our own lenses. And so when I can share a story, when I can connect with someone and show them my own lens, the lens of my child, and then see them take that and walk away from it and say, thank you for sharing that, I've never seen it that way. That's pretty powerful to be able to have that impact.
Congratulations and welcome to the stage, Stacy Burnell, DEI trainer with C. Stacy Speak LCC, LLC, and founder of Awesome Autistic Ogden. Ms. Stacy.
I'm just walking right past this podium, aren't I? It's not that bright, y'all. They lied. All right, first things first. We're gonna take a selfie or else it didn't happen, right? Oh, those are bright lights. Okay, proof that I was here. What an incredible honor to be on this stage. Last year I was actually a guest at the Weber State table with Miss Adrienne Andrews, oh, there she is. And she turned to me at one point in time and she said, that's gonna be you up there one day. And here we are, one day. Time is a trip. In 2018, I was at a seminar for how to improve your speaking business. And one of the tips that we were told is that women should not wear red on stage because we don't want to appear too powerful. Boo. Clearly, I did not heed that advice. Thank you. In 2019, I published my first book. It's called The Things We Don't Talk About. And in 2020, I gave a TEDx talk called Confessions of a Recovering Nobody. In my talk, I said, I want anyone who has ever felt like a nobody to know that you are a somebody. If you are a recovering nobody like me, I challenge you to test your voice and to know that your story matters. After decades of being diminished and belittled and otherwise told to stay quiet, I chose to flip my narrative. Shortly after the 2020 election, I was inspired to get this tattoo that says, I'm speaking. I imagine that for many of us in this room, we share that similarity, those same experiences of feeling unseen, unheard, and like what we do doesn't matter. But tonight, we know that it does. It does matter. To my fellow honorees and to everyone in this room, I see you. You matter. Thank you for what you're doing to make this state and the world a better place. Thank you to Utah Business, Living Color, to my wonderful family for being here for me always. And y'all, don't ever be afraid to wear your red. Thank you.
In terms of diversity and inclusion efforts in Utah, I would really love to see us move past an intentions phase to really considering more what the impacts are. I always joke that Utah is the best intended place I've ever lived. I have never met so many wonderful people who want to love one another, who want to take care of one another. However, sometimes our impacts don't align, and I would love for us to be vulnerable enough with each other to move past the stage where intentions outweigh impacts and really start getting to the meat of the work so that the impacts are magnified. My favorite part of my job is knowing that even though as I look around my community, my world around me, and I see gaps or I see places where people aren't being served, that I'm the one who can step in, that I can use the skills that I've learned either through my training or personally to help other people find their place in the world with a little more ease and confidence so that they can come through in stronger ways and claim their spots in our community with more confidence.
Okay, please give a warm welcome to Victoria Petro Esclar, Councilwoman, District 1, with Salt Lake City Council, and founder and principal for Bold Ideas Consulting.
So I didn't trip. I'm halfway to success. Thank you, Utah Business Review and Living Color Utah, for this moment. I know that this is supposed to be like my award that I take home, but the real honor tonight is being stacked up in a list of these people alongside whom I'm being recognized. I long ago learned that when Miss Emma says your name, you pay attention and show up. Miss Betty Sawyer is a matriarch to any of us who want to show up and do the work. I love my Nick Artragus more than I can tell you. Amir Jackson might be the reason I kept my sanity as an arts administrator during the COVID pandemic. Mr. Raymond showing that Panamanian blood is where it's at. Stacy, who's going to change the world for kids in Ogden, and if you're an Ogden voter, pay attention to her and mark her name. And to Ben Collender, who one day I'm going to forgive for resigning from the city and not staying there to work with me. I am the most fortunate of women because when in my nonprofit capacity, I got to prepare young people and their families for the world. And now, in my capacity as elected leader, I get to prepare the world to receive my children and their families. I want to thank the people who understand that when you want to work to include diversity in ways that are equitable and accessible, gates can never be kept. The only thing you can do with those gates is fling them wide open. So to those who have been first in the room, but never content to be the only in the room, and blazed the path for me, thank you. Notably, my surrogate mother, former Representative Rebecca Chavez-Hauk, Representative Sandra Hollins, State Senator Luz Escamilla, Representative Angela Romero, and the person who nominated me, Sylvia Castro. Thank you beyond expression. I am proud to be part of the first ever majority-minority city council in Salt Lake City. But I need everyone to know this isn't a demographic anomaly. The reason this is notable is because of the skills we bring, the perspectives we bring, the ability to solve problems and look at barriers and laugh in their face as we problem solve around them. So to those who make the work possible, notably my Vili from District 1, I hope you don't take offense at me calling you mine, but I think of you that way. To the beautiful, diverse, skillful city staff who are here with me today in the absence of our other elected leaders who are out of town. To the administration and to the mayor who sits at the table with me repeatedly, even when the conversations get hard around these topics. And then to those who let me be me, especially when that imposter syndrome, which never goes away, looms large. In the room tonight, those people are represented by Richard Leverett, Ashley Cleveland, Aaron Wiley, and Micah Miller. And lastly, thank you to my children for giving me the strength to free myself from generational burdens so that I could be free to do this work. And I need to let you all know that while I am proud of all of my ancestors who left from ports in Italy and Havana, Cuba, the one who left from the port in Colón, Panama is the one who changed my life. I am the granddaughter of Manuela Garcia Zuniga and Mercedes Garcia Ponesi, who went by the name Linda because her father called her Melinda, and the English speakers around her thought that meant that her name was Linda. They could never have dreamed of the day when their granddaughter, who is the first in her family to graduate from college, got to be in a beautiful room full of wonderful people celebrating that she was blazing the trail for the next generation. And finally, to my new consulting family, the Pathways Associates family, thank you for giving me a home to do this work, for letting me be a little brazen when I talk about it, and for imagining a future where grandchildren of people who are leaving ports today can find home here with strength and dignity. Thank you.
Congratulations once again to our honorees in this inspirational category. And those honorees were just that, inspirational. So please, let's give them another round of applause as they keep doing such great and amazing work. Thank you. We have reached our final category of the evening and are pleased to be recognizing an individual that will receive the Cameron Russell Williams Impact Award. The Cameron Russell Williams Impact Award. I'm going to say it one more time. The Cameron Russell Williams Impact Award. But before we recognize the honoree, we would like you to all know a little bit more about Cameron Russell Williams. Please turn your attention to the video screens.
For me, it's about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's a big goal for me. It's a big goal to ensure that everyone feels included, everyone feels supported, and as though they have purpose, and they can come to a place like Utah, which I look at as the modern day gold rush. They can come to Utah and feel at home, and they can call this place home.
Cameron Williams was the sort of person who could walk into a building, stumble upon a recruitment event, introduce himself as a viable candidate, even if he wasn't, and walk out with a position at Goldman Sachs. That kind of charismatic, visionary personality allowed him to rise through the ranks at Goldman Sachs and eventually take on the tech world. Cameron taught himself how to code on the weekends until he nabbed a job at Domo, where he worked to create a business intelligence platform that would help companies grow and scale. Never content to settle, he became a multi-patented software architect, started his own transportation logistics company on the side, and used his spare time to provide a voice for others. Committed to making Utah a more diverse and inclusive place, he was recognized by Utah Business as one of our 40 under 40. He sat on the board and became chair of the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce. He helped lead Living Color Utah and was the inspiration for the annual Living Color Gala. Cameron accomplished everything he sought out to do in just 33 years of life, and so much more. He left a legacy at home in Chicago and here in Utah.
Work as hard as you can, live every day like it's on purpose, right? Live every day like someone else had a purpose for you, because it wasn't by accident that you woke up. And that's how I live. I'm a 2-time brain tumor survivor. And, you know, it was almost like I got to wake up as though a day was an accident for some reason. Like, it wasn't guaranteed to me. So I try to make the most out of everything I can, and I think everybody should do the same, and who knows what the world would be if we did.
Please join me in welcoming Nikki Walker, Director of Community Engagement and Diversity, Equity and Inclusion with Domo, to the stage.
Good evening. Y'all feeling all right? We have reached the end, but it is the best ending of the night. On behalf of Domo, we are pleased to be able to sponsor and be a part of the Living Color Utah Gala. It is also our honor to be able to present the Cameron Russell Williams Impact Award to this year's recipient. Let's learn more about her. Please turn your attention to the screens.
Project Success Coalition is a local grassroots nonprofit. We started in 1989 in response to several drug busts that had taken place in our community in northern Utah. And we called a community meeting together to find out how we could work to address those issues, and Project Success was an outgrowth of that. Since our incorporation, we've been involved with education, with after-school and summer youth programs, health prevention education, as well as health equity. Along with that, cultural arts. We have 3 major cultural arts programs with the Utah Juneteenth Freedom Festival. We have our community Kwanzaa celebration, and we have a storytelling initiative that we include our young people in called Our Town, Our Story, helping them to find their voice, use their voice, and share their voice in telling stories about our community, about their families, and about themselves. I've been thinking, what's next for Betty Sawyer? And I think I'm looking to next providing an intentional vehicle to replace myself. I'm going to really put forth the effort in developing a leadership academy where we're working not only with younger students, but also those post-high school, post-college, to help them find their place in this world of nonprofit, in this world of social justice activism, in this world of civil rights movement.
It is with great pleasure that I get the honor to welcome to the stage this year's Cameron Russell Williams Impact Honoree, Executive Director of Project Success Coalition, Ms. Betty Sawyer. Say it again. On behalf of the Cameron Russell Williams Impact Fund, we just want to present you with this bouquet. And this comes with love from Ms. Brenda Williams, Ms. Morgan Williams, Dr. Ferguson, James Jackson III, Leon Henderson, and myself. We love you, Ms. Betty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Much love. Much love. Woo! I mean, what can you say? What can you say? Oh my goodness. Jumbo. Jumbo means hello. How are you all out there? Holding on? Yeah, look, I would say you're looking good. I saw you earlier, so I know you didn't change. So you're looking good tonight. It is with much humility and gratitude that I accept this award this evening. To be recognized by and among such fearless leaders, especially this award's namesake, Mr. Cameron Williams, is truly an honor. Cameron lit a spark that's left a light and a path for all of us to follow, private, organizations, corporate, to uplift equity, diversity, and inclusion for years to come. I want to thank God, my creator and sustainer, for seeing fit to use me and to choose me in this service of community. My family and I call it our gift of love, because everywhere I've been, it's been a journey with all of us. I also want to thank my hubby, Gerard Butch Sawyer, who's been on this journey with me for 45 years and haven't left me yet. In just a couple of weeks, we get to celebrate our 45th wedding anniversary. And thank you, thank you. And who would have thought a young college graduate from Baltimore, Maryland, would end up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and then hook up with a young man from San Diego, California, who had come to Utah State to play football, and then have 4 sons. And we're on baby watch. We're expecting number 13 grandbaby tomorrow. Yes, yes. So we've been able to leave our mark in so many different ways in Utah. I want to thank all of my friends and the rest of my family, my Project Success Board. Mama Charlotte is here with us, and those that aren't here, my ride and die, Lucretia and Annette, I have to call them out because they've been on this journey with me for almost 40 years as well. We started out as youngsters, hanging out at the Legion. No, I just said that, no. I was not doing that. I was at church for sure. But like my mom and dad, you could go party Saturday night, but you would be up for church Sunday morning, so we'd have to use a little wisdom on that one. I want to especially thank Miss Nikki Walker and the Domos family for their support and investment in community building in Utah, for just blazing a trail. A few years ago, we hadn't heard of you, but now you're everywhere, and we thank you for that. Miss Coretta Scott King once said that greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. Living Color Utah and Utah Business, you are helping to build, sustain, and celebrate that kind of community, and I thank you for that. Through my journey in Utah, I've had the pleasure of having some awesome mentors. Many of them are now, along with my parents, what we call walking with the ancestors. But I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for their leadership and their guidance. When I first came to Utah, I'm a Southern girl, so I was told to look for the church and the NAACP. Yes, in that order. And I was fortunate enough to find both. I ran into a lady at the grocery store and found Calvary Baptist Church, and Pastor Davis married my husband and I. And then I found Miss Alberta Henry, Bonnie Burley, Bernice Benz, Mr. Dooley, all of those wonderful folk at the Salt Lake NAACP. And so by the time I moved to Ogden, they just ushered me in to the arms of the Gillespies and the Masseys and Mrs. Goodwin. And I was the young person in the room back then. And now I look around and I'm the elder. And so I just thank God for keeping me. And like I said, I am looking for that replacement, several of you, because I'm like those folk, I only have 15 jobs. And so I give people a warning. They say, oh yeah, Miss Betty, I want to help. And I said, let me tell you now, I laugh on the side, but when we get up in here, it's work, huh? Nyla, Terry, we don't play. They be ready to leave me and stuff. And I said, no, you gotta stay till it's over. And so in closing, I'd just like to say, whenever I'm out, I try to leave the group with a charge. And my charge to each of us today, in the words of our own Cameron Williams, let us commit to make the most of every day and every opportunity, starting now, starting here. God bless and Sankofa.
I think it has been echoed in several of the comments tonight that we are a collective community. I'm going to take just a little liberty for the honorees that are here tonight, seated among you. If you could stand or raise your hand. If you, honorees, I would prefer, if you could stand or raise your hand in this space. Yes, keep standing. Please keep standing or keep raising your hand. As you see, they are dispersed throughout this auditorium area here, just like they are dispersed throughout our communities. And they are doing the work. They are doing the work. They are making a difference. They are being intentional about how they go about creating a space that identifies equity, diversity, inclusion, and creating a space of belonging. How we move this work forward is dependent on all of us. How we hold each other up, how we lift each other up, how we celebrate each other, how we understand that it is not a zero-sum game, that it is the work that we are all charged to do. So again, if you could just put your hands together. Really, really, put your hands together. Really, really, for the work that they do as we continue to encourage them to do this very heavy lift. And I am certain that if any one of us is in this space who would like to have a conversation with any of these honorees, they would be pleased to have a conversation with you as to how to continue to move the work forward. So you may have noticed the signs in the reception areas and also at your table for the Living Color Utah Silent Auction. We invite you to visit the silent auction site by scanning the QR code to check out the items and make some bids. Let me say that again. Scan the code and make some bids. Scan the code and make some bids. We would also like to thank the businesses and individuals who have graciously donated items to the silent auction to benefit Living Color Utah. 100% of the auction proceeds will go directly to Living Color Utah to continue their great work in this state. There is also a QR code in the middle of your table for a complimentary year subscription to Utah Business. That's a bonus. Please feel free to scan and complete the registration to receive your monthly publication. We do like to do our part in recycling, so if you could please leave your name badge on your table, we will collect them. Your parking is also paid for. If you did not receive a voucher when you got your name badge, please make sure to stop at the registration table to get one. Registration. So that includes our event for this evening. We want to thank you all for coming, and congratulations again to the 2022 Living Color honorees. It's been my pleasure to be in your space this evening. Thank you.